Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about telling people when things went left or why things messed up in our relationships. And I think this is a great topic because so many people that I've seen online just say, look, I'm not telling you because I've told you already, or, I'm not telling you because I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my energy, or I'm not telling you because you already know what you did. I don't have to tell you because you already know. And I think that while you do have to conserve some energy, I think it's really important that you tell people where your relationship went left. And it's not for them. It's not for you trying to save the relationship. It's actually for yourself and your own peace of mind. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. Are you ready? Let's go. When it came to telling people how I felt about stuff, I would keep my mouth shut because I had this mentality before I started really healing and doing my own self-reflection, understanding how I impacted the world. I had this mentality that everybody was doing things because they didn't like me. I was the center, the focus of every action that they did. And so when they did things that would slight me or that would hurt me, or I would say nowadays I'd be hurt by, they do an action, they're living their regular old life, not really focused and paying attention to me. But my brain says these people have it in for me. Oh, you spelled my name wrong, or you looked at me funny, or I don't know what's going on in their mind, but my mind will let me know what's going on in their mind. I would make it up. And so they'd slight me. They'd do something to hurt my feelings. They'd leave me out. They'd laugh and they'd look at me, and I'm thinking they did something specifically against me. Now, these are just strangers, right? These are just strangers. And it was so much worse with people, and I say strangers as in people that probably coworkers or something like that, but people I weren't really close to. It was so much worse with people that I was close to. And so much worse, I think that they would do things to hurt me intentionally. There's so many. I just that sound right there is like, wow, that was me, former Lee. And looking back at myself, I'm like, wow, there's so much to unpack there. Why would I even want to hang around, especially today? Today, my mindset is like, you wouldn't even want to hang around people who didn't have your best interest in mind, or you would look at them and you would even think that they would not have your best interest in mind, whether or not you knew it for true or not. But anyway, let me go back to my story and how I looked at people that were close to me and I believed that they would do things to hurt me intentionally. They'd make fun of me behind my back. They'd laugh at me. They'd do things that didn't feel good to me, or they would do it in my face. Sometimes people play in your face, right? And I would think that they did this for the expressed intention to hurt me. There was nothing else that was happening in their lives. There was nothing else going on. There was no other reason they'd want to perform those actions. There was no other reason they wouldn't invite me to something. There was no other reason, simply to hurt me, right? And if you're thinking that, because, hey, this is where we all start. We've been conditioned this way. But if you're thinking that, and somebody does something that hurts you, you don't want to tell them because you think that they already know. You think they already know what they did. I'm not going to tell you. You already know why you did what you did. I don't need to tell you. I'm just going to pout my lip. I'm going to cross my arms and I'm going to give you a mean eye. I'm going to mean mug you. I'm not going to answer your text messages. I'm not going to respond to you. I'm not going to invite you to my next thing. Because you know what you did. And if you're in that mindset, I want to encourage you to tell them, to assume that they don't know. Assume that they're just dummies. They're just got their own life and they're not paying attention to you as closely as you are. And so I want to encourage you to open your mouth and tell them about the experience that you had that upset you so much. What it's going to do is help them get an opportunity to rectify or change that for you, right? So they didn't invite you to something and they find out that you really, really wanted to go and you didn't express it. How were they supposed to know? Or they did something where, I don't know, they showed up late and it really bothered you, but you didn't make it really known to them. That's just a part of their pattern of behavior to show up late whenever they flipping want. They show up whenever they want, and nobody's gotten to their face about it. Nobody's told them it was a problem. And you aren't telling them that it's a problem. You're pouting your lip, and you're giving them a mean eye, mean mugging them, or whatever. And they're not getting the message. So I want to ask you to clearly articulate that. That's one thing. It's going to help your relationship. So if you're thinking about it, if you're in that space, you want to help them help you by telling them what the heck they're doing. All right. And then so now we got the next level of this. So that's one thing. That's one scenario. And now we got the next level of this where, okay, Lee, you know what? I tell them like your ass, you come late and gets on my nerves. Gets on my nerves. I'm here a half an hour waiting for you every single time. Every single time, at least a half an hour to an hour, I wait for you and I tell you the exact time every time. And I'm so annoyed. I'm tired of telling you. What do we do here? You want to keep the relationship with them? Well, you might be in this space where you're tired of telling them. Now we need some real solutions. Because usually people will say, look, this is a problem. And the other person will be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. And they just do it again. You get tired of telling them. So what you want to do here is to, instead of just telling them, you want to help them come up with a solution so that they're able to get to you on time or meet your needs. Because perhaps they do the best that they can. They're like, look, 15 minutes is on time for me. 15 minutes late is on time for me, and that's the best I can do. Or, you've asked them to do something and they just can't figure out how to do it right. They just can't figure out how to do the thing that you want right. Like, ask interesting questions or be more thoughtful. It's like, I want you to be more thoughtful. You tell them, I want you to be more thoughtful, and they just don't know how to do it. So this is the part where, of course, you may be tired of telling them the same thing, but consider that what you're saying to them isn't going through, isn't getting in, because they don't know what to do. Because you're telling them not to do the thing. You're telling them what they should not be doing. Like, don't show up late. You're telling them to be more interesting, but they don't know how to do that. They don't know what it is that they can actually do to do that. They've been late their entire lives, and you might be like, oh my God, I don't want to teach my friends to do that. Okay, then don't. If you don't have the patience with them, but if you really want to give this relationship a shot and an understanding of it, like understanding how you communicate, the benefit to you is understanding how you communicate and how other people receive your message. They're not going to do the thing if they don't know how to do it. So having a little patience with them and helping them understand it can be helpful for you because you want to keep their relationship. All right. So then I recommend that you try that. And so the last thing, though, that I have here is if you're really tired of telling them and you have workshopped some stuff out, like this is what you can do, this is what I need from you, and they agree with you, they hear you, they understand the words, they can repeat it back to you, they can say this is exactly what I need. Like you've got a recipe written down for how to be a good friend, and you both look at it together, they understand what to do, you understand what's written there too, and they're still not doing it. Do you still talk to them? Do you still say words to them? Yes. Yes, you do. So this is probably the end of your relationship. And this is probably the part where a lot of people are like, no, I'm not going to talk to them. It's wasting my breath. Lee, we went through this whole process. I told them 1 billion times what I didn't want to happen. I even sat down and workshop what I do want to happen, and it's still not happening. I'm not talking to them no more. I hear you. And this is where we really, really switch to focusing on you. Because this is a difficult conversation to have. And the reason why we want to do this is realizing that perhaps This is the end of our relationship. And it's practice and parting ways with these things and releasing things that are difficult instead of just ghosting. And like if you're in this space and you have to say something difficult that might not be well received, this is practice for you. This is the only reason why you want to do this. You're not listening to them when they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again." No. We already did that. I'm just here to pay attention to how I feel when I do this. Can I say words when they're really difficult? Can I stand in my truth and say what I need to say to somebody who just may not hear this? It is for you to practice that, because it's not going to be the only time that this happens. It's really difficult to share what's real, true, and important to you, especially if you desire not to let go, especially if you have some strong feelings in the situation. It's only practice for you. Okay? So that's what the point of this is. Actually, anytime you say what's really on your mind, it's practice in telling people how you feel and letting the world respond, because we've been taught not to do that. We've been taught to think about how we might hurt somebody else if we speak our truth, and we have to pay attention to other people's good intentions, and we can't say what's really on our mind. Let's not do that, because we're not in practice doing that. So I want you to practice that. So the first benefit to this, because I said there are 3 reasons why. The first benefit, if you already talked about this, is like if you assume that they don't know and you tell them, and it's practice for you to actually do the hard thing again. It's like practice for you to do the hard thing and really put into words what it is that you need from them, instead of just saying, "Oh, I know what they don't know." Don't do that. It's practice for you. And then the second thing that we tried is, well, you told them. Now, how are you delivering that message? Let's practice delivering that message. Is it clear and concise? Can other people understand it? You think you're telling them, but can they really get it? So it's for you to practice that. And then finally, the last one is for you to be able to speak your truth in very, very difficult situations. So that's what it's all benefit for. So anytime anything happens like that, I recommend that you speak your truth. Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. If you'd like a little more guidance and hands-on support, then I've got great news. You can hire me as your own personal coach. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to apply for individual or group coaching. In this 12-week program, I'm going to help you make the meaningful connections that you deserve. After this coaching program, I promise you'll be able to do 3 things. 1, you'll be able to clearly identify who belongs in your tribe and who doesn't. Say goodbye to those people who are wishy-washy, you're unsure of. No, you will know for certain whether or not they deserve to be in the same space with you. And second, you are going to know that your thoughts and feelings are valid and worth expressing. So if you do have feelings about your friends not holding up boundaries or not holding up space for you or not meeting your needs, then you are not going to shy away from telling them. You will be able to communicate your boundaries in a clear, concise manner and advocate for yourself in your relationships. And finally, you are going to learn how to start and stop conversations with strangers and steer them towards topics that are interesting and important to you. I don't know about you, but I don't have weeks, months, years to discover whether or not me and my new friend have compatible values. If you know what you're looking for, you can discover if you're compatible in just a few conversations. If all this sounds good to you and you're ready to make those meaningful connections, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. Again, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. I look forward to working with you. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you have burning questions about your friendships and your platonic relationships with your coworkers and so forth, let me know. Write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, and I might just read your letter out loud. Will this behavior ever stop? I'm a 21-year-old male. I have a friend who is very passive aggressive. I never had many issues with them except for this one. They constantly talk shit about people anytime they have an issue, but never say anything to the person's face. If they say they've stopped, they haven't. They just switch mediums in which they do it, or they hide it better. I've caught them many times without them even knowing that I caught them. They constantly take their frustrations out on other people, making each other people's problems by showing them that they're mad but never say why. They constantly push and pull and elicit a response out of you. Frankly, they've gotten quite lazy with communication lately and constantly complain on Reddit about the friendship regarding issues that they have while changing subtle details, but not enough, I still know. I always have to put much effort in with them, but they lazily reply. However, when I do the same with them, they retaliate or punish me for treating them how they treat me. They can be immature at times, frequently, in fact, and they're always on their phone. What do I do about a person like this? Here it comes. I care about them, but these things are really hurtful when you're on the receiving end. Yes, they are. They make many assumptions about a person and judge them based off limited information. It's truly unfair. It feels like they don't care enough about the friendship to let me know anything truthful, but I want to keep the friend. What would you do about a person like this? I've never had an issue with this person that I haven't told them to their face. So it's quite strange that they constantly do the opposite. I thought friends were people you could speak to freely, but I suppose I was mistaken, at least with this one. So pretty cool here. Okay. I'm gonna oh yeah, these, because you mentioned what you think friends are, and I was just like, oh yeah, I see that. So man, okay, this is like a love-hate thing that happens in these relationships. Is like toxic relationships, and if you're first time listening to me, then you don't know what my definition of toxic relationship is. And basically a toxic relationship is one you get into in which you want to change them. You want to change something fundamental about them, their values, whatever it is that annoys you. You can't stand it. You can't tolerate it. It's huge. You don't accept it at all. You want to change that about them, and it becomes toxic. It is instantly toxic, not because they're doing things that are hurtful. It's because you're trying to change something that cannot be changed, and it causes you a lot of pain, and it destroys the relationship. That's why it's toxic. All right, so this is what's happening in this relationship. You want to change something about this person, and I'm like, why? Not why, but why? Okay, I'm asking why. Obviously you want to change this behavior, which is pretty annoying and frustrating. I used to date somebody, a quick sidebar, I used to date somebody who it's like 2019, when I was just really was really getting really good with these skills. And I put my toe back in the dating pool after several years of being out of the dating pool. I tipped my toe back in, and I met this cool person. I thought they were cool. When we first met on our first date, we had a conversation, and it seemed like they were listening to me, and they did some of the things that I'd asked them to do. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I started to meet more of their friends, and I met quite a few of them. After every single meeting, they introduced me to their friends. After every single one, immediately after we left, they talked shit about them. They talk shit about their friends to me immediately. Every single one, without fail. Yeah, they had something to say. I'm just like, I need to pay attention to that. Wait a minute. I didn't start tracking that until after the fifth friend, and I was like, wow, what is this? It doesn't feel good, because I imagine that they're doing the same to me. They're probably doing the same to me. And it didn't feel good. Like, well, why can't you say the thing to me? What is going on? Why don't you talk to your friends? Why do you smile in their face and then talk shit about them behind their back? That's not good. This is no go. No. And so our relationship fell apart for other reasons, but that was a flag that I now look for. And in this relationship, it just kind of popped up too with this person who's just passive aggressive, who's just saying things and they don't know how to say it to your face, or they're not willing to say it to your face. They're just trying to get a rise out of you because they don't know how to handle their emotions. This person is not very emotionally intelligent. And so why do you want to hang on to this person? What are those things that you enjoy about their character, about doing things with them, about being connected with them? What do you like about that? Because right now, as I understand, as I read this friend that you have has slowly transformed you into them. Let me explain. You have a gripe about how they do not talk straight. They don't come to your face and say the things that they need to say. You don't like that behavior, and here you are doing it. Yeah, this is the first time you haven't said anything to them. You can't. You're finding it difficult. And so it's going to be frustrating. Your relationship is going to be frustrating. You're transforming into this person. You're picking up their habits because you find it so difficult to talk to them and you don't know what else to do. But the right thing to do, or the healthy thing to do, is to have a conversation about the experiences that you're having with this person. The even healthier thing to do, which is really difficult, I would say the even healthier, like Zen kind of thing that you can do, is just accept them for who they are and how they behave and not express any feelings about it. And you're like, Lee, coach, shut up. This is not a thing I'm going to do. I'm mad that they do the things that they do. It frustrates me. Well, you're either going to be with a friend who frustrates you in this way, feel like they're going to frustrate you and you're going to want to change them. It should be toxic. Or you're going to talk to them and see if you can work something out. Like, hey, this is what you could do instead, or this is what I prefer instead. And if they will not, or they cannot meet your needs, then it's time for you to let go. Then you let go. You have that conversation with them. Like, look, I can't be around somebody who's constantly talking behind each other's back. You're not being honest. You're not being open with me. This hurts me. And I just want you to know that I don't want to be around this kind of people. And you let go. Because I guarantee you, whatever it is that you do for fun and you kiki it up and you're having a good time, whatever you do is going to be overshadowed by the frustration that you feel because they don't hear you and they don't care about how you feel about this particular experience that bothers you so much that you're having with them. They don't care. They're unwilling to change. You try to sweep that under the rug today. You try to sweep it under the rug tomorrow. You're going to eventually trip over it. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media, and I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories, and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.